Hello everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video. Hello, my dog smiles, by the way. Can you smile? I just thought, let's have a little bit of a chat. This is going to be a little bit of a cozy, casual sit down chat. I've had so many thoughts running through my head recently just around mindset and how deeply everything is connected. If anyone has been following me like on Instagram or social media, I have literally documented my health and fitness journey from the very beginning. Back in 2017 was like my pivot point, but I have honestly been battling with like my health and fitness and trying to figure out who I am, how health and fitness fits into my lifestyle, and what I really value as a person and as a coach. From the age of like, I want to say like maybe 17. So I thought I would talk you through some real awakening thoughts that I've been having recently, because I feel like in the 10 plus years that I have been on this journey as a person who has really, really struggled, like I have gone through the ringer with my health and fitness. It's not something that I naturally took to. I hated exercise from such a young age. Like I literally remember on my first day of school when I was 4 or 5 years old, it must have been like my induction day or something. I was 4 or 5 years old and they made us run around the block. I had never run in my life. I had never done that before. And I remember being so young and it felt so uncomfortable. Like I was last, I didn't know where I was going. I got lost, I was embarrassed, I felt a lot of shame. I was too shy to talk to anyone and ask them for help or to ask them what direction we were like running in, because I was at the back and I didn't know anyone. And that is literally like it feels like that moment basically summarizes my whole entire journey with health and fitness as a whole. Like it was a lot of feeling lost, feeling a lack of confidence, feeling like I didn't belong. And it's funny that this is literally like my life now. So my mission as a coach and is someone who has a social media presence. I'm not Instagram famous, I'm not YouTube famous, I don't have a big following, I'm just an ordinary girl. My goal is to always speak to the women who feel like health and fitness isn't something that comes naturally to them and something that they have had so much struggle with. I want to be able to show you that anything is possible, and I know that it can feel like you see all these transformations online and stuff, and that's so far out of reach for you, and somebody must have it easier than you. You've got bad genetics, you can't do it because of your lifestyle, or you have it so much harder than everyone else. Like I have been through every stage of the process, and I truly, truly mean that. I've had eating disorders when I was in my teen years. I have gone through the group fitness classes. I've been vegan for 2 years. I have self-diagnosed myself. Actually, I didn't even self-diagnose myself. I was diagnosed with IBS, but I actually just think that came from my shit eating habits, which I'll talk about in here. I've done it all. Like I truly, truly, truly have done it all. I've spent hours doing cardio on my lunch break. I've tried the unhealthy route of alcohol and smoking in order to suppress my appetite, which also didn't work. I've just tried everything under the sun. And what it really comes down to is your mindset. Like you can have the perfect plan, you can have all the best intentions, but truly, like your mindset is literally everything. Your beliefs about yourself is everything. Like you cannot hate yourself into loving yourself. And you cannot create a positive outcome with a negative mindset. And so many of us come into health and fitness and set this goal of like wanting to look a certain way because we hate who we are or we are disgusted with what we see in the mirror. And like I said, you cannot hate your way into loving yourself. So you have to focus on accepting yourself where you are. It doesn't mean that you have to be in love with yourself and just accept you as you are and that's your reality. Like, you have to love yourself enough to know that you're worthy of more. Like, you're worthy to create change. So I want to go through some reasons why I stayed stuck for so long. And these are all things that I see in clients and women that I work with, or conversations that I have with other women. These seem to be the biggest things why people fail over and over and over again, all around, primarily around mindset, and the things that we tell ourselves. This is definitely a cozy vlog. I got both my dogs coming to say hello today. They're waiting to go out for a WALK. Me and Chloe are going to go for a WALK soon. So I thought I would just record this in between while I'm not doing anything. Do you mind? Okay, so one of the biggest things why I see people fail over and over and over again is that they only have a short-term goal, and it's usually based around chasing instant gratification. Like, people want to look a certain way in a certain period of time, but they only care about what's on the surface. They don't have a deeper connection or value to why they want that goal. So losing weight to feel good or feel confident in a bikini, cool, good start point. But when shit gets hard, which it will, it's not going to be enough. Like, you have to think about, how do you feel in that moment? Like, how does it actually feel to feel confident in a bikini, and what does that mean to you? So for example, if you're a mum and your kids are playing on the beach and they want to go every summer, they want to go to the beach and they want to play in the sand and they want you to swim with them and stuff, but you're sitting in the shade, feeling self-conscious, covered up, not wanting to play with them, dreading that experience, dreading going to the beach. Like, that is robbing you from your experience of creating memories with your family and essentially like being present and being part of their life. Instead, you're feeling uncomfortable, wishing that you're not there, feeling ashamed, feeling self-conscious, and not being present. Like, you're essentially not being present. So when you think about it on a deeper level, having that physique or having that goal of looking a certain way, it's going to enrich your quality of life. It's going to allow you to be a better version of yourself for your family and for the people around you. Or something like in summer we all go to barbecues and we eat food and we drink alcohol, and so often, like, women, they don't want to wear shorts or they don't want to wear the dress because, again, they feel so self-conscious. They don't want to go to the barbecue and wear the shorts because they feel like people are going to be looking at them, or they just feel uncomfortable. So think about, how would it actually feel to go to a barbecue and be present in the moment, wearing the clothes that you feel comfortable in, feeling confident in how you're navigating your nutrition, not feeling afraid to have a glass of wine or have some food with your friends. Essentially, like, feeling confident within yourself and your habits and choices, which is also key, and that is something that people really don't give a fuck about. They do not value their habits or their choices. They just value the way that they look, and they don't care what it takes to get there or the value that that has to offer for longevity and their health and fitness long term. Have to have that deeper reason and deeper connection. Everyone seems to think that, like, being normal is a privilege, and this is what I used to tell myself, is like, oh man, I can't wait till I can just go back to normal again. I can't wait till I look a certain way and then I can be normal again. And for me, like, what I associated normal with for so long, and I even fell back into a trap of this last year, believe it or not, after 2 years of establishing new habits before I started bodybuilding, getting myself to a really good place of like tracking my food, being adherent to my macros, which works really, really well for me and my personality type. Not binge eating. Like, I went like 2 years or something without having an episode of binge eating, when previously I had turned to binge eating for comfort for most of my life. It was something that I struggled with ongoingly for a really, really long time, from a really young age, and I didn't even realize that I did it up until like my late teens. So food for me has always been a huge crutch, a huge comfort blanket, something that I've always been like pretty obsessed with from a young age. Don't know why. Like, it's always been since I was a young child, I've been obsessed with food. So when I think back to like being normal, I think about those habits that I had when I was younger, and I would get home from school and I would literally go to the cupboard and I would get all these snacks, and this was like the highlight of my day. I would like get the little bags of crisps, the raspberry icing buns, any type of snack. I would sit on the couch, put on my pajamas, and I've always been extremely introverted. So I would put on my pajamas, watch TV and eat my snacks, and it just brought me like the most immense amount of pleasure. Then as I became an adult, that also came into like my adulthood and what I would look forward to. I went to boarding school and we had like snacks and shit snacks available to us in abundance. We had like white toast, Nutella, cereals, biscuits. Every day when we came back from school, there'd be like cake and stuff, and you have an abundance of it. So we all used to come back from school and we used to a lot of us actually, we just used to sit in the common room and sit on the couches and just binge eat. And every Friday our treat would be like going to New World or going to the supermarket and like getting all the lollies and all of the crap that we had with our allowance that our parents had sent us for the week. And we would just buy shit and watch movies, and that was like our outlet for so many years. So for me, that's what I considered like normal, is mindless eating and putting all this crap into my body and getting that instant dopamine hit from those foods. So it took me years to identify that and break out of that cycle. Even when I started dating Henry, multiple times a week we would go, should we go buy a bag of chips and a block of chocolate? And every time I went to the supermarket, I used to buy a bag of crisps, and I used to eat that bag of crisps within like 5 minutes of getting in the car. It was like my treat to go to the shops, buy a bag of crisps and eat it on the way home. And we would constantly have like blocks of chocolate throughout the week just for the sake of it. And it was just a normal habit that I would have. I would drink wine every weekend just cause. But what society considers normal now is like the reality is like we live in an incredibly sick society. Disease rates are rising. More and more people are getting diagnosed with cancer. There's so much disease. Like there's just so much illness, sickness, disease in life and society today. There's so much stress. There's so much anxiety. We have so many problems as a normal society. And why do we want to be normal? Like, why are we putting like normal on a pedestal and having the mindset that living a healthy and fit life is like a burden? It's a chore. It's something that we get to do for ourselves. Like, nobody's forcing us to do the thing. And like, I'm sorry, but we need to stop having that mindset of like, oh my God, like it's so unfair that I have to exercise and eat healthy in order to lose weight. Like, exercise is a privilege. Putting healthy food in your body is a fucking privilege. Like, we're just so conditioned to believe that eating packaged processed food is normal. We're so conditioned to believe as well, like through social media and stuff, balance means following a plan Monday to Friday and giving yourself a free pass on the weekends. Like, that is not 80-20%. That is not balance. You need to build a lifestyle, and this is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is like, you literally need to build a lifestyle and habits that when the weekend hits, you don't feel like you need to take a fucking break from it because it's such an effort and it's such a burden during the week. That is the mindset switch that we really, truly need to have. It's not working Monday to Friday and then doing whatever the fuck we want on the weekend. Like, that is not balance, and you're gonna stay so fucking stuck for so long if that is the mindset that you have. And that is the mindset that I had for so long. Don't take advice from people that don't have what you want. Like, even me now, stepping off stage, I'm reverse dieting. I'm taking it extremely seriously, as serious as I possibly can, because that's what I want and that's what I know I deserve. And the fact is, I've changed my nutrition trajectory so heavily over the last 9 months that I don't feel like I need a break from it. Like I'm not hungry. Like I'm reverse dieting. My body's extremely depleted and I'm nearly 3 weeks into my reverse diet, and the last 2 weeks I've barely fought with myself in terms of hunger and food noise. And that is something that I fought with every single day for 4 months coming out of my last competition because of my food selection and the trajectory of my nutrition and what I was choosing to prioritize and also what I was valuing in my social life. So mindset is mindset is going to dictate a lot of your choices and your decisions around your health and your fitness. But even like I was saying before I got sidetracked, is people say to me now, like, oh, you're not in prep anymore, so like just be balanced, like you can have this, you can have that. And I don't want to. Like the thing is, what's balanced for me might not be what's balanced for somebody else, and that's okay. So you have to understand as well, like there is no one size fits all when it comes to balance. Like what is chaos to a fly is normal for a spider, and you have to be okay with that. That being said, we also have to be okay with the repercussions of the choices that we make consistently. So if you want to have that mindset of like, I eat what I want on the weekends and I really enjoy that, like that's awesome, that's cool, there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to be okay with the short-term repercussion of potentially not seeing fat loss at the end of that week, or not getting to where you want to get because you're constantly having that balance or your version of balance on the weekend and it isn't aligned with your goal. We all want everything at once, and you can't have everything at once. Like if you have a fat loss goal, you do have to make compromise and you do have to make sacrifices, and the extent of the compromise and the sacrifices is different in each and every phase and for each and every person. We can manipulate our metabolism as well. So while we're having to make like a lot of compromise and maybe not have a lot of balance or a lot of flexibility during certain phases, it doesn't mean to say that it's going to be that way long term. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. Just because you can't have X, Y, and Z and fit them into your calorie budget right now doesn't mean in 6 months' time you're not going to be able to have your dream physique while also being able to introduce or reintroduce some of your favorite things. But you have to do the work and then you get the reward, but you have to go through the process of working your way back up to the reward, if that makes sense. And that's another thing when it comes to dieting and fat loss, why people don't sustain it long term is because they miss the fundamental part of reverse dieting, which is essentially dieting down into a deficit to achieve a fat loss goal. Your metabolism eventually is going to adapt. That's going to become your new normal, and you have to slowly build up your metabolism in order to have your calories back at a higher maintenance level that's sustainable for you, your lifestyle, and what you actually enjoy in life. And that's going to look different for everyone. For me, ideally, like my happy maintenance calories is going to be around like 2,300 to 2,600 calories. For somebody else, they might be happy off 1,800 calories. Like it's totally dependent on the person, their lifestyle and circumstances, how much they move, what sports they play, what training they do, all these types of things. So it really is not one size fits all, and that's another thing that people have to understand. Genetics also do play a massive role in your body's ability to adapt to a certain amount of calories and certain amount of food, and every reverse phase might look a little bit different. They might not always be the same. So again, so many different variables to consider. It's never just black and white. You have to read everything, all the pieces of data, the lifestyle, the habits, the mindset, all those things need to be taken into consideration. Something a lot of us do that is so detrimental to our goals as well is treating ourselves or rewarding ourselves with food and using that as a way to validate our progress. Don't let food be a reward. You are entitled to food. Like you can have food whenever the fuck you want. It's in abundance. But this mindset of like you have to earn your food is so toxic, and it's really doing you a disservice when you're working towards a goal and at the end of the week you treat yourself to a free meal, or you just go absolutely balls to the wall on an untracked meal and you justify it by saying, oh, I've been so good for so long, so this is my treat, or this is my reward. Like, that is a really, really negative mindset to get into. Like, let your reward be your fucking progress at the end of the week. Sorry, but like, if you're complaining that you're not looking a certain way and you want to look a certain way and you're like, oh my God, my life is so hard, I just can't see any progress. I followed my plan Monday to Friday, but on the weekend I was just mindful. Like, you're not being mindful, you're being silly. I don't know how else to really put it, but like all of these habits that stem from the mindset we have are keeping us so stuck. So I'm just calling out all my own bullshit that I can think off the top of my head in the past and sharing it with you guys and hoping that it lands for someone and somebody has a breakthrough and goes like, oh fuck, like actually this kind of makes sense, because that's what happened to me. Food noise. Now, this is something that I am really passionate about. If you haven't even put two and two together yet, especially if you follow me on Instagram or social media, I share a lot about my journey with whole food that I've gone through in the last 9 months. And previously, food is something that I haven't really talked too much about on socials, etc., because it's so personal from person to person. But I really truly feel like I'm doing a disservice by keeping my mouth shut and fearing other people's opinions or people thinking that I'm obsessive or whatever. Say whatever the fuck you want, but to be honest, I feel the most like liberated and in control of my nutrition that I've ever felt in my entire fucking life. As I said, it's something that I've struggled with my whole life from as young as like 5 years old. So to have that breakthrough in a short period of time, I know 9 months might seem like a long time to a lot of people, but 9 months when it's in comparison to the rest of my life, it's really a small fraction of time. Changing my food to primarily whole food based. Now, I do not demonize processed food. Like, I still eat processed food every so often. If like I'll go out for a meal, or I'll have like share a croissant or a cookie. Like, my favorite thing is to go out and have a coffee with a friend and share a croissant or a cookie. I just really like the whole experience of it. It's like my one thing that I really, really love. I can give up going out for meals. That doesn't bother me, but like giving up the croissant and the cookie and the coffee, that's a little bit harder. But something that has really opened my eyes is like, we think that our food noise and our cravings and our food focus is us. Like, we think that it's our problem and that we must lack discipline, we must lack willpower, it's just the way that we are. When in fact, the food that we're eating primarily, like most of us are eating mostly processed food without even realizing it, and I didn't even realize it, but the food that we're consuming is designed to make us fucking feel that way. We are literally obsessed and addicted to food that is making us sick. And I honestly used to be a person that hated healthy food. Even last year, like, I would look at like people that would share whole food recipes and talk about whole food and sugars and blah, 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 and be like, oh, what a load of shit. And like, oh my God, these fucking holistic health people, like, what are you on? What crack are you smoking? Like, stop over obsessing. But it is like really straightforward when you think about it, and when you actually experience it for yourself, it's like, it literally feels like the wool has been lifted over my eyes and I've been brainwashed for so fucking long. Why did I not try this sooner? Like, it's not normal to feel hungry all the fucking time. It's not normal to think about food all the fucking time. And I just thought that's who I was. Like, I would literally tell people I'm just a really hungry person. I was hungrier, I'm telling you, I was hungrier eating 3,200 calories of mostly processed foods. And if you scroll through my Instagram reels, you'll be able to see all the embarrassing reels that I made years ago of what I eat in a day. And it's literally all processed food, like fuck all vegetables, fuck all fruit. And I would be hungry all the time. And even in this prep, I had rewired all of my nutrition habits and primarily ate whole food. I can count on one hand how many times I've felt the feeling of actual physical hunger in the last 9 months. Like, that's including my reverse phase. I think I've felt hungry twice in my reverse phase and maybe felt hungry 3 times in my prep. And that's physical hunger. So I have had like cravings and a little bit of food focus every so often when my body's been like depleted, but nothing like what I had experienced in the past with having a more processed food diet. So it really does make a massive difference. And a lot of us like glorify food based off its taste, and most of us, that is what we base our food choices off. We don't give a fuck about the value of our nutrition. We don't give a fuck about our health. We don't give a fuck about how we feel. Like, we want to be normal, and normal food is processed food, so there's nothing wrong with that. And it's we so deeply want to hold on to these foods that make us feel shit and that make us feel that way, and we don't want to face the music, and we don't want to be accountable, and we don't want to go, oh, actually, maybe I should not buy it. Maybe I should remove it from my environment, because we also have so much shit on social media saying like, you should be able to keep chocolate in your house and not eat it, and you should be able to have Biscoff on your oats every day. And like, yeah, you can, but we're sort of losing sight of like what's important at the same time, because we're constantly getting validated that I don't know how to even explain it, guys, but like, we're just constantly getting this reassurance like, yeah, like you should be able to eat these foods, and like, yeah, they do serve a purpose and you can eat them, but like, just know that what you're eating isn't actually food, and it's designed to make you feel the way that you feel. And usually it makes you feel shit about yourself, to be quite frank. So yeah. Anyways, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent now. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can think of off the top of my head. This was just going to be like a really quick episode of like brain dump and like random thoughts that I've had in my head today, because I've had so many. But those were sort of like a lot of the things that I've been sort of pondering on the last couple of days, because I just can't believe how different of an experience that I have had in this reverse phase in comparison to how I felt in my previous reverse phases. Like, I feel like a completely different person. I feel so in control for the most part. Like, yes, I did have a couple of slip-ups, but again, nowhere near like what I did last year. And I think it was just more so trying to navigate the social situation when I'm really in routine, and like, I'm so used to routine, eating at a certain time, which is also another thing that I should touch on. A lot of us think that we have IBS. I shouldn't laugh, because this was me. Like I said, I was diagnosed with IBS, but there's actually like not really, I think it's pretty hard to diagnose IBS, because I don't know, I'm not going to say anything because somebody's probably going to comment on it and be like, oh, actually. But anyways, a lot of us, especially females, we eat inconsistently. Like, our hunger hormones regulate when we eat inconsistent eating windows. So if we are consistently trying to eat as little as possible, skip meals, stretch our meals out as far as possible, in order to eat as little as possible and lose body fat, like, it's harder to manage your hunger hormones. So that's why we get those really snacky cravings at the end of the day. If you are eating consistently around similar times each day, which I know isn't always realistic, but what you can do is like count 3 hours from the last time that you ate, no longer than 4 hours, and it can make your hunger signals a little bit more predictable and a little bit more regulated, so you can manage those cravings and just stay on top of it. It also really helps with your digestion, rather than just like starving yourself the whole entire day and then going balls to the wall in the evening and eating a shit ton of food. Then going to bed, your gut is going to be so unhappy. So a lot of the issues around like IBS is also stemming from a lack of structure, restriction, overeating, undereating, and that like really toxic cycle. It's not healthy. You should eat consistently. Realistically, every 3 to 4 hours is going to be a good time to eat, because you're allowing your body to fully break down the food in between each meal, supports hormone regulation in terms of hunger signals, and you're just going to feel so much more satiated, and you're not going to want to eat shit every time it hits 3 to 5 p.m. So there's another tip for you. Anyways, I think I'm going to stop talking now. I feel like this is really long and I don't even know if half of this makes sense, but if anyone is struggling right now and they need to have a little bit of a real talk, if they need a little bit of a reality check or a real talk, or they're stuck inside their own head, like this is my 2 cents of shit that I've pulled myself up on in the past.